Today we have the honor of interviewing Navy Chaplain Johnny Bravo, who serves aboard the Military Sealift Command Hospital ship USNS Comfort.
Hey, how are you, Daniel?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us today. I wanted to know, did you think you would ever confront a global pandemic, especially in your hometown?
No, not at all. I would have never thought this. Would any of us have ever thought of this? Probably not many of us. So yeah, I would have never thought this would happen.
And then how do you feel being back in New York?
It's bittersweet. It's very bittersweet. I'm happy to be here and helping out, and it's a dream to be here, and I'm glad they sent me. But however, I definitely feel terrible about what's going on all over the country, especially my home state.
Oh, certainly. And then Comfort has now been involved in many global response operations. How do you do your services but still follow CDC guidelines?
Well, we have to get creative sometimes. I think keeping the social distancing, spacing the chairs out a little bit, and doing little things like that. But, and of course our mask and all that. But to be honest with you, as a Navy chaplain, we're trained to be able to hold services on the battlefield or on a ship, or, so we can make use of any space. And we're quite adept to it.
So that leads into my next question. I heard you encourage your patients and crew members to use Zoom for Easter and Passover celebrations and other celebrations. How do you feel about practicing your faith in the absence of a brick and mortar like a church, temple, or mosque?
I believe the church is the people. It's not really the brick and mortar. That's my opinion. I think the people are the church. So for my fellow shipmates, I'm a vanguard of the First Amendment rights to practice the freedom of worshiping whatever God you want to. So, if we have Catholic or Jewish, my job is to facilitate for them, and I do it quite happily to make sure they're able to practice their faith. And I think it's part of the overall importance to resiliency, to internal resiliency. So that's very important to the Navy. It's important to me. It's important to all of us that we're able to remain balanced through our worship.
And then when it was decided Comfort was treating COVID-19 patients, doctors, nursing staff, and blood technicians immediately transitioned into an intensive care unit dealing with infectious protocol. That must have been hard and a tough game changer for everyone on board. How did that change your demeanor?
Well, to be honest with you, not to sound arrogant, but in the military, we train. This is the best healthcare team, in my opinion. These guys are tough. These guys, it was like a seamless transition almost. These guys just went into work mode and did it, and they worked together, the teamwork. That's why I serve in the military, is the people. And they definitely show their toughness, their tenacity, and their ability to adapt. But once again, that's a Navy thing. They train us to adapt. They train us to work together as a team, and we're used to adversity. So, if you want to ask me how I feel like it was a tough transition, but it was seamless because everybody worked together as a team.
And can you tell us approximately how many patients have recovered and been discharged? And do you get a chance to accompany them off the ship?
Well, so I don't know the number exactly, and due to HIPAA, I won't say specific names or anything like that, but those patients that we seen get better, and it was awesome. And yes, I was able to talk to them, and we were celebratory with them. And yes, there was some that we walked off the pier. It's like everybody becomes family here. When we're taking care of the patients, they were really appreciative of the care that we provided, and we were appreciative of them and giving us the opportunity to care for them. So yes, it was great to see them go, but it was a little sad as well because we have these patients have personality, they have lives, they were pretty awesome.
And we interviewed Commander Amersbach and asked him if the Comfort's mission to New York City had a name. Do you know if there is one? If not, you combine a spiritual mission with a medical mission. What would you give a name to this deployment if you could?
That's a tricky one. I would give a name, but I'm not going to because I want the public to do it or the captain to do it. I think that's his right and that's his honor for our leadership to be able to do that. I was just glad to be here. We're all glad to be here, regardless of the name. It's always going to be a fond memory of mine to serve with my shipmates and to definitely serve the public and be back home and doing it back home.
Now that Governor Cuomo and President Trump announced that there is no further need for the Comfort to remain in New York, how do you feel about leaving the city behind while there's still a few affected New Yorkers, and even in general, just leaving?
Well, we gave them great care, but New York City, I'm going to brag because I'm from New York. New York City has the best healthcare system probably out there, and we know we're entrusting them to New York. That's an inside joke. I'm just joking, but I think our country has great healthcare. But as in New York, we know there's sound professionals. We have some reservists that work out of New York or have friends that work out of New York, and we know they're going to great care. I feel great about that. I feel great in the transition to the local healthcare.
Can you discuss the special relationship that exists on the Comfort between the civilian medical staff and the Navy personnel, as USNS Comfort falls under the classification of a military sea lift command vessel?
From what I can see, it was a great relationship. There's a commonality in med training that a nurse is a nurse. Yes, a Navy nurse has challenges from being in the military, but nevertheless, civilian nurses face very similar challenges. So I just think the commonality held us together in a strong bond, and so that was pretty awesome.
We recently covered a story on Rachel Hartley. She's an ICU nurse who sailed up from Virginia on Easter weekend to work a 60-day stint at NYU Langone Hospital. And a galley full of hospital workers are living on the sailboat to fulfill their mission to aid COVID-19 patients. As Comfort leaves the New York harbor, within a minute passing under the Brooklyn Bridge on the port side, you will see her sailboat, which is called the Turning Point. And as Comfort passes, would you be so kind enough to include Rachel and her crew in your prayers?
Absolutely. I certainly would do so. And I not only pray for Rachel, I definitely pray for all the people helping out in this battle. All the families, all those affected, and the caretakers that are working so selflessly to do so.
That's beautiful. And then just a final question for fun. It must be tough being a Yankees fan on this ship, having 1,000 other crewmates from the rest of the country who are baseball fans. I'm a Yankee fan myself. What do you think the rest of the season will look like?
I'm curious to watch how that unfolds. I'm sure they have a great plan, but I feel for those who work, in the stadiums and things like that. I know they're ready to get back to work, but I know we'll do it safely. So, I think personally we'll probably start later in the summer, maybe May, late May, early June. Who knows? That's my guess. But I definitely want to watch some baseball. I think we need it.
Yes, very true. Brings us all together. Can you offer a blessing over the waters of New York Harbor?
Absolutely. Yeah, if you pray with me, dear God, I definitely pray for the waters of New York and those who are affected by this COVID-19. May you bless the waters to bring in the help that we need to all the police officers and first responders that work in the water or work near the water. We ask that you bless our health so that we can get back to where we need to be. And, if there's anything that can be a silver lining out of this, is coming together as citizens, as family. We have more in common than we do that separates us. And we ask your blessing. And every great society and civilization, water is so important. The harbors are so important. So we ask that same blessing from civilizations past onto our civilization now. And may you bless the waters and bless those that are affected by this COVID-19. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. That was so beautiful. And thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview with us. From all of us at the New York Harbor Channel, and I think everyone in general, we thank you for serving and wish you fair winds.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate you.